The figure shows the graph of a trigonometric function f. Which of the following could be an expression for f of x? So we have this graph, a sinusoidal function, and we need to find out which one of these matches this graph. We can do that by just plugging in some points. So let's look at this point here. When x is 0, y is negative 4. So let's see if when we plug in x is 0 into all of these, do we get negative 4? So when x is 0, we're left with 3 cosine 2 times 0 minus pi by 4. So it'll just be negative pi by 4 minus 1. And this we can simplify to 3 cosine negative pi by 2 minus 1. Cosine of negative pi by 2, that's just 0. So this just evaluates to negative 1, since this will just be 0. So that means A has to be incorrect, because the graph needs to have a y value of negative 4 and an x value of 0. Now let's do the same thing, but with answer choice B. So we'll have 3 cosine 2 times 0 minus pi by 8. So we can just put it as 0 for x, and 2 times pi by 8 is just negative pi by 4 minus 1. And then cosine of negative pi by 4, that's equal to root 2 over 2. So we'll have 3 root 2 over 2 minus 1. And this is going to be some decimal value. So it's obviously not going to be negative 4, so we can rule out answer choice B. Now let's go into the sine values. So 3 sine 2 times. So we'll have 0 negative pi by 4. So 2 times pi by 4 is negative pi by 2 minus 1, which sine of negative pi by 2, that's equal to negative 1. So negative 1 times 3 is negative 3 minus 1, and this equals negative 4. That seems good. It matches this point. What about answer choice D? 3 times sine of 2 times pi by 8, negative pi by 8, since x is 0. That's negative pi by 4 minus 1 equals, so sine of negative pi by 4, that's negative root 2 over 2. So we'll have 3 root 2 over 2. It's negative, and then minus 1. This is going to be some other decimal value that's not going to equal negative 4. So we can rule out answer choice D. So the correct answer is answer choice C. We can also look at the actual transformations of answer choice C, apply them, and undo them to get the original sine function. So see here we have a negative 1. This is a vertical translation of the graph down by 1. So the actual graph is, if we remove the negative 1, would be shifted up by 1. And then we see here that the amplitude of the graph has been doubled. So see how 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the maximum amplitude. And that's been doubled from the 3 in the out front, because normally sine function has an amplitude of just 2. It oscillates between 1 and negative 1. And then we see here that there's a phase shift, moving the graph to the right pi by 4 units. So if we move this graph to the left pi by 4 units, we would see that this point here would actually be over here and intersect with the y-axis, which is what we would expect from the normal sine function. And the reason it touches at negative 1 is because we move the graph down 1 unit. So if we actually moved it up by 1, it would be right at the origin, like a normal sine function. So the correct answer choice from either of those two methods is C.